Hi, I'm Mark from the Gently Grown Homestead, and today we are going to be talking about garlic. Some facts about it, how to plant it, that is all coming right up. So we are going to be preparing and planting some garlic today. First off, they have two varieties here. One is Music, one is German White. They're both hardneck varieties. They do better in cold climates like Connecticut, which is zone 6. I'm in 6B, right on the border of 6A. But we want hardneck. They will grow much better for us in this area. Most people would have had their garlic in by now, and try to do that sometime maybe in October. This is now getting to the middle of November. There's a better saying that I heard for around here: if you want your garlic to grow well, plant it between Halloween and Thanksgiving. That is exactly where we are right now. We're getting closer to Thanksgiving though. We've passed all the 70-degree days. I think we are past all of the mini heat waves we've had for the fall. So now I want to make sure my garlic goes in, gets established, gets a good amount of mulch on it to protect it, and live through the winter. So let's start. All right, so in order to plant garlic, first you need seed garlic. It should not be any garlic that you might buy at the store. You should specifically get seed garlic. They are tested more vigorously for diseases and things that you want to avoid in your garlic plantings. So that's what I have here, and you're going to get them in full garlic bulbs. What you need to do is break these off as if you're going to be cooking them, but you're not, into the different sections. Leave the skin on. We're not cooking these, we're planting these, and the skin will help protect them a little bit. So what we're going to do is take each of these bulbs and you should be able to, let me see if I can show you, fairly easily this one's just going to come off, fall apart. And the bigger the bulb, the bigger the garlic you'll get next year after the planting. I'm going to avoid any piece that might look bad. Well, again, this should be good. Comes off very easily. Perfect. And that is one clove of garlic. Nice and big. It'll give us a nice yield. So as I am separating these cloves, I'll address the elephant in the room. Yes, I am planting late. I have just noticed that it's the last several years we have stayed warmer and warmer, longer and longer through the fall. People that planted their garlic earlier, more on schedule than anyone would consider me right now. It started to sprout, which is not a huge deal, but it is not ideal for garlic. You don't really want it to start sprouting in the fall much at all. I also couldn't help too much having to do with the schedule. We just got our trees down, and I couldn't really plant anything before those trees were down. It was going to be another obstacle for the landscaping crew as they were dropping the logs for us. So I had to wait with pretty much any and everything outside, or most things, until the trees were down. Now the trees are down, we are doing as much as we can, as fast as we can, to get ready for the spring. I'll quickly go over what the plan is here. So I'm planting a little bit later, and I'm going to use a combination of a couple methods that people have used successfully. So the first thing I'm going to do after I get these cloves apart is I'm going to soak them. This is to help the bulbs, help soften up the bulbs and give them a little bit of a boost, a little bit of a jump start. And nutrients. Garlic is a very heavy feeder. One of the things we're going to do is add some nutrients, even though you don't necessarily have to, but it will help it grow. We are going to mulch heavily with wood chips. You can see a big pile, one of those big piles in the back. This is very common for garlic. It's also common for something called the Ruth Stout method, which is generally done with potatoes and not garlic, although it does work for garlic and other plants as well. With the Ruth Stout method, you would have a heavy layer of mulch and usually straw, although wood chips, leaves, things like that would work. And in short, you don't do anything else. You just you mulch it, and then the idea is you mulch it enough where it is protected from the elements, it retains moisture, and it starts breaking down the grass and the mulch on the very bottom to feed the plant slowly over time. All right, so this is what a pound of garlic looks like. We're doing 2 pounds. This is the German white. This is the music. Each one of these is going to be its own garlic bulb come next summer. Next thing we're going to do with these, now that we have all the cloves separated, is we are going to soak these for 30 minutes in a diluted fertilizer. This just gives them a little bit of a jump, a kickstart, some added nutrients, a little boost, so they can establish their roots before the even colder weather comes. And as they soak, we can actually get our land ready. So let's do that. All right, so we have our garlic soaking right now. I used a liquid fertilizer that I had on hand called Ocean Solution, a great one for growing microgreens. They're going to soak for 30 minutes. While they do this, we're going to go get our land set up using only a shovel. Now remember, some people grow garlic without putting it in any soil at all. You can throw it on the ground, cover it with a bunch of hay or straw, and as long as you keep that layer thick enough, you will get garlic. It might not be the biggest bulbs, it might not be the best yield you get, but I know that does work for people. We are going to do something in between a full dig and till of our land right now and that Ruth Stout method where you don't dig at all. Let me show you. All right, so what I'm doing is I am just splitting the earth a little bit. I am not doing a full till. I am not taking a garden fork to loosen up everything. I just want enough space where I can put the garlic right in between, past the sod, right in between the two different halves of the soil I just made. So I'm just splitting that up. It's going to be a quick, easy garlic row. We're going to put garlic right there into soil. We're going to top it with a little bit of fertilizer, some potting soil, some potting mix, and then a lot of these wood chips to mulch on top. So I'm going to go do that across all the way down about 50 feet for 2 rows of this. All right, so now I have 2 rows, about 25 feet each, so 50 feet total to plant the garlic. They are about 6 inches apart. I did not use string to line these up, and I just separated the earth. I eyeballed the lines and the 6 inches apart, and I think they came out pretty straight. Either way, the garlic should grow just fine. Let's get some nutrients next while the garlic is finishing up the soak. So I had some time left over after cutting out the 25-foot rows for the garlic cloves. I had some time left over, so I got some of the potting soil and nutrients ready in this bucket here. This is a mix of potting soil. There is some azomite, there's some worm castings, kelp meal, and a little bit of all-purpose fertilizer kind of mixed in there. You can, again, use what you have on hand, but garlic plants, they are heavy feeders, so you need to make sure you give it lots of nutrients right away for it to establish roots and grow nice and strong for you next year. It is now time to plant those cloves, so let's go. All right, so if you can see, I've got the 2 rows right here that I cut out. I'm going to start with the music, and all I'm going to do is take one of the cloves, pointy side up. I'm just going to stick it in between the soil that I cut apart. I'm not forcing it very far down. This is not soil that I tilled. It's not terribly loose, but I am going to add some of that potting soil and fertilizer on top, and then a bunch of mulch to kill the sod, and it should lighten everything up. But I do want this garlic to be in the soil. About 6 inches apart goes the next one. Again, I am eyeballing it. If you do this, feel free to take a tape measure. I am not as concerned about that right now as I am about getting these into the ground. So let's finish up the music, and then the German white will be in the other row to keep them separate and easy to tell apart. All right, let's go. So to recap, what I just did was I put the garlic cloves in pointy end up, and you might have noticed I ended up getting a small little trowel in some of the spots. I didn't push the earth far enough away from each other on both sides. I did not want to force the garlic cloves in there. The idea was to get them in contact with soil, but not to smother them right from the start. After I did that, I added my potting soil mix with my fertilizing amendments. Again, garlic plants are heavy feeders. There was azomite, kelp meal, worm castings, and another all-purpose fertilizer I put in for each of the rows. Then I gave it a quick watering and added on a bunch of mulch on top. And I will check this. I will keep adding mulch as I need to. So these are mostly wood chips, but if you can see, there are a good amount of leaves in there too, which I'm hoping will keep it still insulated, but light enough for those garlic shoots to shoot up in the spring when I want them to. This is it for now. That the leaves and wood chips are plenty moist. I'm not going to water these. We just had a lot of rain last night. This is it. I'm going to leave it. I will water it, add mulch as needed, until we harvest around July of next year. So I am very curious if anyone has ever seen or planted garlic like this, just moving the earth apart a little bit, adding some potting soil, and then using wood chips and leaves as a mulch on top. Again, sort of a combination of traditional garlic planting with the Ruth Stout method. Please let me know what you think, if you've seen it before, if you think I did something wrong, if I missed something I should have done. Let me know in the comment section. Also, don't forget to click like and subscribe so you don't miss any new videos from the Gently Grown Homestead. Thanks, be well and grow.